He says that he's your personal trainer.
What?
This episode has been requested only a couple of times, but y'all said it was extra messy, and I love extra messy, so here we are, talking about season 6, episode 20, Caitlyn and Kenton. Trash mans. So we are back with another Max episode, and this was an episode that I hadn't seen all the way through. I had seen clips of it, but never the full thing. So we actually start off this episode with Neve and Max talking about Jose, which is putting me on edge because I really don't want to have to talk about that man again. I really don't. Y'all already know how I feel about Jose. And if you don't catch up on the lore, okay, catch up right now and then come back. But then as they're on a lunch break, we see someone walk right up to them and say, "Hey, are you Neve and Max?"
Hi, excuse me. Are you Neve and Max?
What?
Excuse me, who are you? To me, it's very clear that this was staged by production because cameras are rolling, but I don't believe Neve and Max were in on it, so I think everybody else knew, but they didn't know, which is kind of wild. But we move, I guess. I feel like I would be freaked out if someone just walked up to me on my lunch break when I'm like on set. The walker-upper introduces herself as Caitlyn, and she says that she is a big fan. Girl, if you weren't, then this would be super awkward. Why are you stalking them if you're not a big fan? But she then tells us that she is speaking to somebody, and she's wondering if the guys personally know him. Why would they personally know him? What in the first 48 is going on right now? Seriously, because why would they know your random man from Kentucky? So she then shows us a picture of someone named Kenton who lives in Kentucky, and as they're scrolling through the pictures of him saying they have no idea who he is, we actually see that Kenton has gotten a picture with Neve and they're clearly in a gym.
What? I met him. You did meet him.
Wow. This episode has gotten off to a very weird start, but I'd also imagine that Neve takes pictures with so many people, so expecting him to remember all of them is a little bit outrageous. But then Caitlyn tells us that Kenton told her that he is Neve's personal trainer.
You think I'm stupid?
He says that he's your personal trainer.
What?
Please be so for real right now, please. Okay? Neve and Max are both flabbergasted. Neve finally picks his jaw up off the floor and says that he doesn't know Kenton, which is not at all shocking to me, but I'd imagine that it was shocking to Caitlyn. To me, it's very obvious, it's very likely that this was just a random person who Neve agreed to take a picture with, something that I'd imagine, like I said, he does a lot. Caitlyn says that she and Kenton have only been talking for a couple of months. We then later find out that it has only been 3 months, okay, so keep that in mind. Yet, he wants her to move to Kentucky to live with him, and she wants to do it. She's looking forward to doing it. She's excited to do it, which to me is a huge red flag. It's only been 3 months and he wants you to relocate.
Good thing she don't get paid for thinking.
Okay. And then it gets even worse after Neve and Max tell her to pop a squat and we get into the details of it all. Caitlyn tells us that when they met, Kenton messaged her on Facebook and he was a real gentleman about it. So they quickly exchanged numbers and they began communicating every day. I don't know how someone could be a real gentleman through messages, but also to believe that someone is a real gentleman just because of messages, a little bit weird to me, because to me that's like an action you have to take. You're not just a gentleman because you send a nice message.
Sorry to this man.
But also, meeting on Facebook is such a red flag. On this show specifically, Catfish seem to love that website. They love it more than I love matcha ice cream, which is a lot. So Neve is like, okay girl, let's be so real for a second. We know he's lying already, and Max interrupts Neve and is just so shady.
If Neve had a trainer, you think he'd be this scrawny?
No.
Max really hates this Catfish right from the beginning, and you'll understand what I'm talking about if you watch all the way to the end. Caitlyn then pisses me all the way off by saying that she has a 2-year-old daughter, and Kenton is persistent that they both need to move to Kentucky for him.
Kenton's very persistent on me and her moving to Kentucky.
Where's the common sense? It is not in this room.
In my humble and very intelligent opinion, Caitlyn should have ended things before even trying to reach out to the show, because for the best interest of your daughter, you need to not be messing with a man who wants you to uproot not only your life, which is already a red flag, but your daughter's life as well, just for him. You have nothing in Kentucky. Why would you pack up and move for him? Caitlyn then says that she doesn't want to put her daughter in danger, but she doesn't want to mess this up because she loves him.
I don't want to put her in danger, but it's something that I don't want to miss up on the opportunity. I love him.
Ew! Oh, brother!
You are far too focused on your own love life, and you're not focused enough on your daughter's life and her safety. Wanting to uproot everything for a random man you met on Facebook is idiotic, but when you take into account her 2-year-old daughter in the mix of things, it is just downright selfish.
I said what I said.
Neve and Max then ask her about her baby daddy, and Caitlyn says that he can't contact her due to a restraining order.
Lord have mercy.
The pressure is getting worse.
Neve then brings up a very good point and says that this would be a way for her baby daddy to work around the whole restraining order and still be in contact with her. And Caitlyn just completely brushes off that suggestion, which is very weird to me because if you're being catfished, anything needs to be a possibility. Almost anything should be considered a possibility. Neve and Max agree to help her after they are done filming the Jose episode since they are nearby. As Caitlyn is leaving, she says that Neve and Max aren't hard to track, which is a wild thing to say, and I feel like they should be maybe a little bit more aware of that, a little bit more vigilant. Maybe don't post where you're at until you're leaving, but also at the same time, I know people post where they're at, so that's kind of out of their control, but I don't know if they had security on set at this point, but it seems like they need that. Max throws a little bit more shade, which did make me laugh when I was watching this, I can't lie to you.
You guys aren't hard to track.
I guess not, yeah. Well, because Neve, you're Snapchatting left and right.
A couple of days later, we then meet back up with Caitlyn in Worcester, Massachusetts. I always have such a hard time saying that, so if I said it wrong, don't tell me. Oh, laughing made me think about this one comment where someone said that they think my laugh is fake, but I feel like if you've watched enough of my videos, that's my laugh. Like, I'm not putting that on. That is my real life laugh. I laugh like that all the time. My little giggle. When I'm laughing hard as hell, it sounds just like that, but louder. Anyways, Caitlyn then tells us that when she was only 14 years old, trigger warning, we're about to get into a little bit of essay. Caitlyn says that
I ended up getting raped. I was 14.
Jesus.
It was a close friend to the family.
and after that, she did not have the best relationships, which led her to this point of being in this relationship with Kenton. Now I feel like I can better understand how she ended up in this situation because the lack of closeness provides her with a sense of security, and it clearly allowed her to feel safe enough to let her guards down rather than if she were dating Kenton in person. She then says that with her baby daddy and her most recent ex, there was a lot of cheating and a lot of lying, and she doesn't believe Kenton is either of these guys simply because he has a southern accent.
When I did talk to him on the phone, he had a southern accent.
Caitlyn girl, I'm gonna need you to put your critical thinking cap on, okay? Accents can easily be faked. We've seen that time and time and time again up until this point in Catfish, which is only season 6. Still a lot of seasons though. Everyone then takes a seat, and Caitlyn tells us that her and Kenton have bonded over their individual traumatic experiences, which is not an ideal situation, to be completely honest. She then says that Kenton was also sexually assaulted at the same age. And now I would hope that someone would never lie about such a thing. I do think that it's not a good sign when catfishes claim to have the exact same experiences after the catfish victim divulges sensitive personal information. So if Kenton said this first, then it wouldn't have been as, I think, suspicious, but the fact that she's like, oh yeah, this happened to me, that happened to me too. It's like, did it really? Max clocks this, he says exactly what I'm saying.
You don't feel like he's just saying that because he wants to sympathize with you?
And Caitlyn says that she hopes that he wouldn't lie about this, and I also hope that he wouldn't lie about this, but at this point we need to be real, okay? Girl, you don't know this man, and you already know that he lied about being Neve's personal trainer, so I feel like it's safe to assume that he is lying about damn near everything he has told you, because if he isn't even being honest about what he does for work, the most basic of things, it's not believable, it's not trustworthy. It's not giving trustworthy man who you should move to live with after 3 months of dating. That's not what it's giving.
Idiot!
They don't really mention their ages, but throughout the episode we find out that Kenton is 22 and Caitlyn is 21, but I wanted to mention it now, just cause.
That's weird.
Kenton says that he actually moved to Kentucky to be closer to his daughter, who he pays child support for, but never actually gets to see.
You don't find that suspicious?
Some of the buttermilk ain't clean. And I think I'm just gonna keep it at that. I don't want to get into a whole conversation about this.
Realizing stuff, realizing things.
Neve and Max make it clear that to them, none of this really makes sense or even sounds believable. Max says it perfectly when he says that Kenton is just
He's mirroring
Yeah.
your life to win your trust.
and that's what I said earlier. If you are dating, I'm talking to you right now, are dating someone and you notice that they are doing this, run, and please run as fast as you can. This is usually a tactic used for later emotional manipulation and to provide an immediate false sense of closeness and security, which are two things Caitlyn has told us that she would need to feel right away in order to open up to anyone. So how convenient is it that Kenton's life story allows her to do that exact thing? Caitlyn claims that they've never video chatted because Kenton is always working, and Neve then chimes in, he's very petty, which is very much on brand.
Well, he's always working.
With me. As you can tell, I'm in the gym a lot.
She then reiterates that the main reason she likes Kenton is because he's very gentlemanly. And I feel like I said this before, but I will say it again. It is very easy to keep up that front, that false persona when you don't actually interact with someone face to face. Caitlyn says that after her SA, she has had a hard time telling anyone that she loves them, which is completely understandable. There is nothing shameful about that. I can totally understand that. She says that when she does say it though, she means it 100%, and she wants to say it to Kenton, but she's held it back because they've never met and they've never video chatted. So you won't tell him you love him, but you're willing to pack up and uproot your life and your daughter's life for him after 3 months. Okay, Miss Girl. Kenton has actually given her the ultimatum of moving or ending their relationship, which to me is insane. Like, a weekend visit won't suffice? Why is the only option going to the absolute extreme? Also keep in mind he has never offered to visit her, and he has never mentioned wanting to move to her. Why does Caitlyn have to be the one to do all the bending?
Oh, so you doing the bending.
We then take a peek at their conversations, and Kenton seems to be very emotionally manipulative, to me at least, because he often gets upset about Caitlyn not giving him her undivided attention, which is insane.
I just don't know if you're going to be able to do what I'll need you to do to make this work.
She's a single mom to a toddler, and she works 6 days a week. Like, you won't hop on a video chat, you won't come and visit her, but you feel that you're in a space to make demands? Oh! Men are crazy. Because what the hell is this? My gut instinct about him being emotionally manipulative is confirmed when we find out that Kenton has told her that he knows other single moms who have tried harder than her.
What happened to hello? How are you?
What? What the fuck did you just say to me? That's a terrible thing to say, but also it's ringing off major alarm bells for me. Like, dude, are you only out here dating single moms? And if that's the case, why are you comparing single moms to other single moms? Like, you are a weirdo, a straight up certified weirdo. Max then says what we are all thinking at this point. This guy is not a gentleman, and he is in fact playing mind games.
He's playing a mind game with you. Mr. Gentleman doesn't seem that gentlemanly.
Caitlyn tries to defend him, and she says that that's just how he's been recently.
Be fucking for real.
Miss Squirrel, your whole relationship has been recently. It has only been 3 months. If his switch up has been that drastic and it happened that quickly, you need to let that man go, like yesterday. Caitlyn then says that she is so willing to want something good that she has just been accepting things that are potentially unacceptable.
That I'm accepting it.
I love this moment of self-awareness, to be completely honest with you. It is something that catfish victims are usually lacking, hence why they end up on the show in the first place. And that's no shade, that's just what it is. Max then goes on a little rant about how Kenton sucks.
Get a load of this one.
Before saying that he's over it and Caitlyn needs to dump him, and he's literally so on point with this.
I don't like this guy. He's lying about who he is. He's not treating you right. I'm over it. Dump him.
It's clear, like I said, Max hates this guy. We don't even really know who he is yet. Neve then intervenes and is like, no. We'll help you, and then you can decide what you want to do. Me personally, I'm team Max right now. With the information we know, she needs to dump him. Even if they find out that he's the guy and everything he's saying is true, he's still a piece of shit.
Clock it.
So they say their goodbyes and they head out. In the car, the guys are pissed, and they both agree that Kenton is an absolute piece of donkey shit.
I know something you don't.
Love that we're all on the same page right now. We then get to our investigating cafe for this episode, and it's really cute. It's really nice and bright. I love big windows. I love a big window. Neve and Max both agree that they are investigating this with the sole purpose of exposing Kenton and allowing Caitlyn to be rid of this weight of a shitty online relationship. They both don't like him, but Max really doesn't like him.
If I ever come to power, you're dead.
They start by Googling Kenton's name, and we find a lot of pictures that come up, which is really interesting because usually that doesn't happen. But we then find out that this man has multiple dating accounts that are still open. You could find them. I don't know if you could find them now, but at the time you could find them very easily. He had an account on Badoo and Plenty of Fish, which are both dating apps. Pressuring a woman to move to your state when you are out here on every single dating app is crazy work, but it's just the type of behavior that I would honestly expect from this man. I would expect nothing less. I would expect nothing more.
You don't deserve to be outside enjoying the sun.
But as of right now, it's looking like Kenton is in fact the guy in these pictures. They check out his Facebook page and they see that he says he has been in a relationship since March 6th, but he doesn't say with who.
That's suspicious.
Now, my guy, why would you be in a relationship and still on dating profiles? What exactly is going on here? But also, Neve and Max do the math and they're like, March would have been exactly when Caitlyn and Kenton met. So why would he immediately change his relationship status unless he is actually in a relationship with someone else? Which is hot tea, okay? Very hot, hot, hot tea. It's that song, feeling hot, 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 do 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 do. Me mind on fire, me soul on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot. We then see that regarding the relationship status update, someone named Casey left a comment saying, "I love you." Now, what the hell is even going on here, and who the hell is Casey? They send Casey a message and they get right back to sleuthin'. The way I said that was too ridiculous. Sleuthin'. We then see that only women have liked the last picture that Kenton uploaded, which is very weird for someone who is apparently in a committed relationship. So they decide to just message all of those girls. We then get a call from Rachel, who they literally just messaged.
Hello?
Hi, this is Rachel. I got your message on Facebook.
Neve briefly fills her in, and she says that she only knows Kenton through Facebook. She doesn't know him in real life. Now this is where things get really weird, as if they weren't already weird enough.
Without overreacting or sounding like I'm overreacting, what the goddamn hell?
He contacted her for advice when he was fighting with a girlfriend named Paige, and then he started flirting with Rachel.
What does it mean?
Okay, if my man ever used a fight with me as an excuse to contact a random girl, he would no longer be my man. I would no longer even act like I know him. It would be like, poof, he ceased to exist, because what the hell is even that? But also, who the fuck is Paige? At this point, there's too many women being introduced too quickly. My brain cannot keep up. It can't compute. She then also says that Kenton messaged her fairly recently.
Trash.
At this point, red flags are the only thing in my eyesight, because Kenton, what the hell are you doing?
Side eye.
They thank her for her time, and then they hop off the call before Max reiterates that once again, he doesn't like Kenton.
I don't like this guy.
And right now, me and Max, we're like this, locked all the way in with our dislike for this man, and most men, but especially this man. Kenton is clearly a womanizer, and Max says that he's a sleazeball, and I wholeheartedly agree. So the next day, Neve makes a joke about jacking off.
Yeah, did you bring that extra lotion?
Before giving Casey, one of the girls that they messaged, a call, which is definitely a choice, and I think it's an even more interesting choice that they decided to keep that in the episode when they could have simply edited it out. But, you know, do you, I guess? Casey says that she and Kenton met last year in person in Cincinnati, and they dated for about a month when they were in Kentucky, but then they broke up. She says that Kenton, shocking, so surprisingly, he was not a good guy, and he was actually cheating on her with his ex this whole time. And Casey says that she has the receipts to prove it.
Saying that he misses her and that he loves her and that he's not going to stop trying to be with her.
Trifling ass, nasty ass, crusty ass man. She then says that she actually met Kenton's daughter, and Kenton also told her that he was Neve's personal trainer when they first met. What a weird, strange lie to go along with for multiple different girlfriends. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not easily impressed, but if some guy, his pickup line was, yeah, I'm Neve's personal trainer. Okay, I'm supposed to care why? Like, what?
Do you hear yourself?
Why is that a flex? You're a weirdo. But they then thank her for revealing this unexpected twist, and they hop off the call. Max is petty once again.
This guy can't keep it in his pants.
And then we head over to tell Caitlyn what we found. On the way over, Neve is petty himself, and then we get a call from Mr. Trash Ass Man himself, Kenton.
Now I'm really mad. Like, I don't know why, but this shit just enraged the fuck out of me.
Max skips the bullshit, skips the pleasantries, straight up tells him, we are here with Caitlyn. She asked for our help regarding you. Kenton says, well, clearly I'm real.
Clearly I'm real.
You're an idiot, okay? Because if that were clear, we wouldn't be here. Kenton then says that he jumped on a plane and he's already on the way to where they're at to clear everything up.
I'm already on the way.
What?
Max's reaction is so me because, sir, what the hell are you even talking about? What are you talking about? You had months to come and meet Caitlyn and do all this, and now as soon as the show's involved, you're like, yeah, I'm on my way. What?
They go low, I go lower.
Kenton says that he did so.
Be nice.
Because he doesn't want Neve and Max to get the wrong impression of him.
Oh, they're going to prison.
Who cares what the hell they think? What about what Caitlyn thinks? You know, the girl who you're supposed to be in a relationship, the girl who you're in love with, the girl who you want to uproot her whole life for you? That one? What about what she thinks? At this point, to me at least, it's clear that he's just trying to do whatever he can to uphold the good guy, gentleman facade. Even though it's already been shattered, he just doesn't know it yet. Kenton says that he can meet them in a little bit, so they hesitantly agree. What the hell was even that? What was that phone call? This whole thing is just very weird. At this point, both Neve and Max are heated, but Neve more so than Max just right now in this very moment. Something about hearing from Kenton really just sent Neve over the edge. I don't know how Caitlyn is about to take any of this, and right at the door, Max tells her to curb her enthusiasm, which is crazy.
Excited to hear what you have to say.
Well, curb your enthusiasm.
But honestly, very fitting for this shit show they're about to reveal to her. But I actually am glad that they didn't just let her be excited. He let her know right off rip, like, this is not gonna be good. Do not be excited. I think the way he said it could have been better, could have been a little bit more sensitive, but I like that he told her. So they sit her down and they tell her everything we just talked about. After hearing it all, Caitlyn just breaks down and she starts crying. She says that she feels like an idiot and she begins to question what would have happened if she had actually succumbed to his pressure and moved to Kentucky instead of contacting the show. She summarizes her feelings by saying that all of this is very disturbing, and I personally could not agree with her anymore. It is very crazy, very wild, a little bit.
I think she'll be okay.
I feel like it's not entirely shocking to find out that your online boyfriend who was pressuring you to move to him with your daughter, even though he's not allowed to see his daughter, is a weirdo, a cheater, a liar, a manipulator. That's not shocking. I think in the grand scheme of things,
why you booing me? I'm right.
But I feel like it's shocking for her because she had a completely different viewpoint of him. She wasn't able to see the big picture. Neve then makes it clear that Caitlyn is being emotionally manipulated, and he basically just tells her it is time to stand on big business. Put your big girl panties on, okay? We got shit to do, shit to handle. They then tell her about the phone call from Kenton. Caitlyn's reaction is us.
That he jumped.
Because him all of a sudden doing this when Catfish gets involved shows that he does not care about Caitlyn. He just cares about his own image. Caitlyn then walks upstairs to the bathroom sobbing, and Neve and Max are clearly upset about this, but Max trying to get the perfect shot of her crying just kind of took me out in this very, very sad moment, because it's like, yes, this is a real person with real emotions, but at the end of the day, Neve and Max are clocked in, okay? They gotta make MTV those dollars. So when Caitlyn comes back down, Neve comforts her and lets her know that they will meet with Kenton first and then bring her along afterwards if that is what she wants. Caitlyn agrees, so they then head back to their hotel to meet with Mr. Player, Cheater, Liar himself. As Mr. Kenton walks over to them, Neve says that he's buff while Max clowns his outfit.
This guy looks buff.
I got some distressed stonewashed jeans coming.
And to me, this guy does not look buff. Not at all. But Neve wastes absolutely no time and is like, hello? Why would you fly out here on your own dime without prompting? Like, no one's ever done that before, so what's tea? What's really going on right now? Kenton says that he wanted to clear things up since he didn't know what was being said about him.
I don't know what's being said about me, so I want to meet up and just get it cleared up.
Don't piss me off, for real. Don't piss me off.
Neve then confronts Kenton about the personal training lie, and Kenton just brushes it off and claims that it was an easy white lie to say. Okay, but why would you say it?
Quickly.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm so confused. It was just an easy lie, so I said it. What? Neve then fills him in on what's going on with Caitlyn and the other girls. Kenton says, well, in order to explain all that, I need to know who you talked to.
We happened to talk to two girls who had sort of versions of the same story.
Well, in order to explain, I didn't know who you talked to.
Oh, hell to the no. Hell fucking no, because to me, it just sounds like you want more time to get your lies together, because in my mind, who they talk to shouldn't matter. You should be able to just explain what's been going on for the past like year and a half. Kenton then admits that he dated Casey, and he says that he was not flirting with other girls.
Liar!
Now, why would we believe anything that he says? Okay, he just admitted that he was comfortable with what he deemed to be a white lie or a small lie, but to me at the end of the day, a lie is a lie and lying makes you a liar, so why would we believe a lying liar who lies?
Quickly.
Kenton then doesn't directly address the cheating. He says that he got with Caitlyn after he and Casey were completely done, which is a lie. Okay, there is definitely a lot of overlap going on, and we know that to be true because Casey has no reason to lie to any of us. Kenton then laughs a very fake, very loud, phony laugh when they talk about his methods of baiting Rachel into a conversation.
Angle in and then...
It was just me having a conversation.
I so don't care.
Max then interrupts him and is like, my ugly gened liar, cheater, manipulator, get to the point. He doesn't say that, but I'm saying that. Kenton then says that everything he has said to Caitlyn besides the training lie has been true. Okay, run the clip, editing Jada. Why would we believe a lying liar who lies?
Quickly.
Neve then brings up Kenton's essay, and Kenton says that it is true, but he isn't going to talk about that. Neve doesn't push that any further, and I personally respect that.
You had mentioned that you had had a similar kind of thing.
Talk about that.
That's fine.
But I also do feel like, and this is where it's kind of a tricky area. I feel like this is where it's kind of a gray area, because if Kenton is telling the truth about his essay, then this definitely wasn't the most sensitive, the most mindful way to bring this subject up. But at the same time, he just exposed himself as being a lying liar who lies. So I can understand why maybe Neve wasn't the most mindful, but I feel like maybe that sensitivity could have been there because this still could potentially be true. Kenton, who doesn't see his child, who isn't a single parent, then says that it is bullshit that Caitlyn's time is limited due to being a single mother of a toddler and working full-time.
Not really being understanding of the fact that she was a single mom and barely has any time.
To me, that's bull. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. You are an absolute piece of shit. We already thought you were, but that right there just confirmed it for me. He says that he works 40 hours a week just like her and he has time.
What's all this bullshit and shenanigans?
Okay. Are you the single parent of a 2-year-old? Oh, you're not? You have a daughter you don't see or spend time with? So how could you even possibly speak on Caitlyn's time?
Quickly.
You want her to neglect her daughter to appease you? Neglect her household responsibilities to talk to you? Are you fucking serious?
Vile, disgusting, gutter trash.
Neve and Max are pissed, okay? And they're just trying to contain their anger while Kenton rambles, trying to justify his piece of shit mentality.
That's bull. You can't make time for me. That part might be true, but you have the time.
And then denies talking to other girls while he and Caitlyn were talking, which I honestly do not believe him for a second. He seems like a player through and through. They half-heartedly thank him for coming and they agree to meet up tomorrow, maybe with Caitlyn, maybe not, depending on how she's feeling. The guys then call Caitlyn, they fill her in on the craziness of everything, and they tell her that somehow he had an explanation for everything.
He basically had an explanation for things, and we're not necessarily saying it's true or that we're believing him.
I personally don't think that any of his explanations made sense. I don't think that any of them are even remotely reasonable, but he did in fact have an explanation, I guess. Caitlyn agrees to meet up with them tomorrow, and as soon as they get off the phone, Max says that he believes that Kenton is in a relationship, and he jokes about how absolutely awful this man is.
Let's go on Tinder and see.
He's probably on Tinder. He's probably having sex right now.
He definitely is having sex right now.
So the next day, they head back to Caitlyn's. She then clocks Neve and Max, and she says that after further reflecting, she believes that Kenton is fooling the old head baddie duo. Now, me personally right now, I'm not saying that she's right, but I'm also definitely not saying that she's wrong.
No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade.
They then head out to meet Mr. POS himself. Caitlyn honestly deserves so much better, and I really hope that she does not settle for all of this garbage. The vibes are very, very off. They're very awkward, to keep it a buck with you.
Hi. All right.
We see that Kenton is wearing the same ugly ass jeans, but that is neither here nor there. It is simply just a petty observation on my behalf. As Kenton is talking, Caitlyn already looks fed up of his BS, and I am personally loving that for her. Kenton then decides to immediately start his first in-person conversation with Caitlyn by criticizing the frequency of her communication.
There was like no communication hardly at all. Like it would be like literally 2 texts a day maybe if I was lucky.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What a terribly manipulative thing to do, okay?
Okay, some of you don't know what I'm talking about.
Caitlyn just found out that you are a liar, you are a cheater, and you want to immediately shift all the focus onto her and away from you, which is so grimy and low down and dirty. The fact that Neve and Max didn't immediately cut him off is very frustrating, but at the same time, it's understandable, I guess, a little bit, because he is just kind of exposing himself as a manipulative POS who, to me, just wants control over Caitlyn and her daughter, since he has no control over his own baby mama and his own daughter.
Damn. Kick you while you're down.
Kenton says that he has a lot of stuff going on and he can still make time in his day. Sir, disrespectfully, you do not even have custody of your child. You are not a single parent. She does make time for you. And if you were a genuine guy who just wanted more time and attention, you could have found a much better way to communicate that. This whole tirade of his is just super annoying, and I wish him and his thin ass eyebrows would simply just shut the fuck up.
Clock it.
Caitlyn then defends herself, which I don't think she needed to do at all, to be honest with you.
I work a new job and my phone's not on me. So it wasn't intentional for me to not text you as much.
Kenton then claps back at her. He is not understanding whatsoever. And he says that he works more hours than Caitlyn and he can find time, so he doesn't understand the excuse. But also remember 2 seconds ago, he just said he also works 40 hours just like her. So there you are. Kind of lie again. Were you lying then? Are you lying now? What's tea? But the way Max is sitting right here, it's not relevant at all. I just thought it was very funny because it's very much giving that he's trying to keep himself calm so he doesn't lose his ever-loving mind. Kenton says that Caitlyn acts like...
When you get home, you just throw your phone in a trash can and then that's it.
Honestly, I wish that that's what she did because then we wouldn't have to be here listening to your BS, sir. Disrespectfully. Neve then interjects and he tries to kind of smooth things over, but then Kenton goes back to his bitch fit while Neve just looks exhausted, like he is over this whole situation, like I am over this whole situation. I also don't understand how none of them clocked that Kenton is over here just deflecting from all of the real issues at hand. Caitlyn defends herself once again, and then her and Kenton go back and forth.
It's not that I can't make time, it's just that you want me to make time when you want the time.
Until Kenton says that he has dated single moms before and he has never had this problem.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we heard you say that before. And when you said it before, it sounded just as bad as when you're saying it now. Max has been truly fed up this entire episode, this entire time, but he finally breaks his vow of silence and really goes in on Mr. Thinbrow. He says it's clear that this didn't work, yet you're still blaming it on her. And then he says that...
I can tell by your huffing and lack of eye contact with her.
He's pissed, but in my mind, he's pissed for all the wrong reasons and he's pissed at all the wrong people. You shouldn't be mad at Caitlyn, be mad at yourself for being an absolute terrible person. That's just my opinion. Kenton then tries to act like Caitlyn deceived him in some way, which is confusing but also a little bit comical to me because he was the one who was lying, like openly.
Like you should have just said, you know what? I don't got the time for you, but you're sitting here leading me on.
But he says that Caitlyn should have cut it off, but instead she's leading him on. And he then says that he is done with the conversation. I'm done with the conversation now. Do y'all know that meme?
I'm done with the conversation now.
Caitlyn then begins to cry and take responsibility for things that she should not be taking responsibility for.
I guess I wasn't putting enough time in. I mean, I have feelings for you, like they're still there.
It very much just seems like he broke her down just enough. He manipulated her emotions just enough for her to freak out about potentially losing him and put all of the fucked up things we found out about him over to the side. Caitlyn seems to have an overwhelming fear of being alone, or particularly being without Kenton, and I wish she would have been able to overcome that and leave this man in the trash where he truly belongs. Kenton then has the audacity to say that he does not believe a word that is coming out of Caitlyn's mouth and says that there's nothing else for them to talk about.
I don't believe a word that's coming out of her mouth. Nothing more to talk about.
Okay. You're the one who admitted to being a liar, but you don't believe the words that are coming out of someone else's mouth. That's rich. We then take a break. Neve stays with Kenton and Max goes with Caitlyn to the car. And honestly, they did not need to take a break. They just needed to end the confrontation. However, when walking outside with Caitlyn, Max says what we are all thinking.
He's being a little bitch. He's being a little crybaby.
Caitlyn is just sobbing, and at this point, Max's hatred for Kenton could not be any more clear. It could not be any stronger. Max says that Kenton is easily butthurt, and that will be a problem in the relationship, which at this point, I don't think there should be any discussion of a relationship. Just leave this man alone.
Just go ahead. Just cut it off.
Max then drops an absolute gem of knowledge, and he says that life is hard, and if a relationship is just adding to the hardness of life, especially at the beginning, then it's the wrong person.
Life is hard. And if your relationship is just adding to the hardness of life, then it's the wrong person.
Some of y'all might need to run that back. Some of y'all might need to have that as a ringtone. Whenever that one person calls that you know you should have nothing to do with.
The girls that get it, get it.
That was absolutely amazing advice, and I believe that that really resonated with Caitlyn. And then he follows up that amazing knowledge with an insult to Kenton, and I'm so here for it.
I mean, his moods, and he's like that.
Caitlyn agrees. She says that she found out what she needed to, and she's ready to move on.
Thank God.
Back inside, Kenton says with his whole chest that Caitlyn is a liar and that she lied straight to his face. Houseway. It is very much giving, he knew he was in the wrong, but now he wants to try and find a way to switch the game up because he knows that being a victim will garner even more sympathy and attention and potentially even more women for him to play games with after the episode airs. Neve then finally clocks in. Okay, he says, you're trying to put all the blame on Caitlyn, and Kenton straight up says, I am. I'm putting all the blame on her.
It feels like you're trying to sort of put the blame on her.
I am. I feel like the blame should be on her.
What the fuck? You're so weird. You're such a weirdo, but not in like a cute, kooky way. You're just a fucking weirdo. Max and Caitlyn go back inside, and there's just a lot of awkwardness. Before Max says it's time to say goodbye, bury all of this and move on. Neve and Max look absolutely flabbergasted because Kenton says nothing. Caitlyn apologizes for wasting his time, essentially, which is a bit frustrating because I don't think that she really had anything to apologize for. Kenton should have been apologizing to her. It shouldn't have been the other way around. But Kenton then continues to act like a little bitch.
A girl.
And he says nothing, so they all get up and leave.
Anything you want to say?
I already said everything. I've been over it 10 times.
In the car ride out of there, Max and Neve praise Caitlyn for how she handled the situation, which I thought was really nice, and it gave her that boost of confidence in her own boundaries. In our 2-month follow-up, Caitlyn says that she is working really hard. She is not currently dating, thank God for that, and she hasn't spoken to Kenton at all, which thank God for that too. She now acknowledges that she didn't deserve to be treated like that, which to me is really great to hear because at the time it did seem like she was blaming herself way too much, and she accepted that treatment because she thought that that's what she deserved. Kenton, which we don't really care, but I'll tell you anyways, says that he's just working and he still feels very much the same way about the situation. He feels like he wasted his time, which I'm very confused by that statement, to be completely honest with you, because I only think Caitlyn's time was wasted. I don't think his time was wasted. He was out here playing games, running the internet streets. Max says that eventually Kenton will look back with regret and realize that he acted this way because he didn't want to look stupid. Kenton then picks right back up with his bitch fit, and he says that
I did look stupid. I'm sitting there crying over a girl that, didn't even make time to text me.
Shut up, dude.
Now, he did in fact look stupid, but not for the reasons that he said he did. He looked stupid because of himself, and that's the only reason why. They say goodbye, and that is the end of the episode.
That was dark-sided, and that was too much.
This episode pissed me off. This confrontation pissed me off. They didn't discuss anything that he really did. They allowed Kenton to deflect everything onto Caitlyn, which is really irritating to me. They didn't talk about his controlling tendencies. They didn't talk about how he tried to pressure her into uprooting her whole life with her very young daughter. They didn't allow her to confront him on the overlapping aspects of the other relationships that he was in. They really just let him deter the whole conversation, and that was really upsetting to me. Max was really mad at this guy from the very beginning, and I feel like he did a really good job at controlling himself, but I do wish he would have let Kenton have it a little bit more because that's what Kenton deserved. You can tell that he's the kind of guy who has never been put in his place, And I feel like that is really what needed to happen. And I feel like people were lying to him because they made him feel like he was super attractive, and it just wasn't giving that.
Somebody lied to her several times.
Your personality sucks, your eyebrows are too thin, you dress terribly, and you're just a bad person. That doesn't make you hot.
A matter of opinion, I think he's quite average looking.
Anyways, besties, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you are aware of every single time that I upload. If there's another episode, another series, or just something in general you'd like me to talk about, you can leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to leave, I feel like nothing encapsulates this man better than a big red flag. So just leave a big red flag in those comments down below to let me know you watched all the way to the end, and make sure that we are on the same page about Kenton being a terrible person. Or you can leave an angry emoji to represent how Max was angry. Up to you. Or you could leave them both if you're a real one. But besties, I thank you so very much for being here and watching to the very end, because you're so real for that. And I will see you in the next video.